Greetings, Demon Slayers. It's Mari. It's just me today. Today's vid's gonna just be kind of a little bit of a tips, or I guess more so tutorial vid. I've gotten a few requests about the Armory and the supporter set, so we're just gonna come right over here, get right into it. I'm also gonna go over awakening skills a little bit, just to loop all these things in together, get a little information out there for people who may be wondering. Because yeah, some newer players have requested that I talk about this. So, first thing we'll talk about is the armory because it's really easy. The gist of it is you just level a weapon to max. So, in this case, these ultra rares would max out at 60, and you just throw them in there. The only thing you're really looking to do is try to fit them within a set. So for me personally, like I'm using the ultimate weapon set because I've done enough gacha that I have a bunch of these weapons hanging around. So yeah, like as you can see here for set 3, 5, 7, and 9, for example, I get an additional 4.5%. And then on top of that, where is it? There we are. We have just rebellion weapons here. So I have 3 of these here to round out the amount of 10, and I'm getting 4% for the 3 I have. There are better items to put in here. One notable one being the stupid summer vacation weapons, the swimsuit weapons that came out over the summer. They were given out free in the event. You could get some copies. I don't know if they'll be repeated again, but they're notable for giving 5% instead of 4.5. Snake God weapons are also good for giving 5%, but who knows if that free-to-play event will ever repeat. If it does, though, you are able to get 3 weapons because they usually do them in increments of 3. So if you're looking for weapons for Arena, definitely. And the weapons... God, where are they? I don't even know if they have a family. I don't even know what they'd be called, but they're these purple weapons. Like, these things. I don't know if they're actually a part of a weapon family or not, but these can also be thrown in the armory, though most people who are getting these are either breaking them for enchanting or probably using them because they're newer players. But yeah, I don't see them here, so I'm gonna assume maybe they don't have a family, or maybe I'm an idiot and I'm just like glossing over it. Which is probably totally the case. Oh no, here they are, here they are. They fall under ultimate weapons too. So yeah, they're worth 4.5% as well. Like yeah, they're all chilling in this tab. Sorry about that. So yeah, people doing the current weapon event can definitely get 3 of these to throw in here if you're looking to buff up your armory. Or if you're a newer player, once you start graduating to better gear or PvP weapons, then you can start moving these to the armory to get more DPS on your account. Outside of that, the only other notable weapon would be the Cherry Blossom weapon, because they do sport a 6.5% buff for each set threshold. The problem is each of these weapons cost 10,000 mileage each, so they're going to take a very long time to get, especially if you're free to play. But the whole point of the armory is basically to just give your account bonus attack power overall. So I'm sitting at like 8950 because I've all the summer weapons and stuff, I honestly have broken them down when I should have probably threw them here. But I didn't really care about a few extra percent. It's up to you what you do though. I'd say anything between like 80 and 95% is good. And, you know, it's something you work on over time. It's definitely not something a new player is going to have built out right away. But as you progress in the game, you'll be able to fill this out. Next, we're going to come over to the supporter formation. And this is just as simple as it sounds. For each set bonus, specific supporters apply to it. If you have those specific supporters, then you can equip the set bonus to your account. So for the example of like what I have highlighted here, I have a Susanne, I have a spider, or biscuit spider waifu, anemone, and I have a Katagina. So I'm able to use this set effect called Home Alone, which would increase critical rate of melee attacks by 8% and increase critical damage of melee by 15%. Now, we'll look at something that isn't actually accessible, but I have the supporters for to kind of explain what you need to do. Okay, so here's one, Game Hunters. So I have a Tatsumi, so the N here basically means that you've received the supporter. That's basically the symbol for having a new supporter or a new item. So the N means I have her. The little blue jewel here, or sparkle, or whatever you want to call it, that means I've actually leveled her up to level 60. And the reason this is not highlighted for her is because the Tatsumi is just sitting in my box. I haven't actually done anything with her yet. And then the final thing would be her intimacy. Once you get her intimacy to level 5, that would highlight that. In order to use a set bonus, you do need to level the supporter to max level, which would be 60 because most of them are ultra rares. Any super rare ones would be 50, I believe, if I'm remembering right. And you would have to get the intimacy heart to level 5 to get this highlighted, and then that would unlock all of these little passive effects and allow you to equip the set effect if you'd like. So just a little food for thought there for people wondering. I could go level the Tatsumi, but I'm lazy and I don't really feel like it. But if I were to level her, this jewel here would turn blue. Outside of that, like, there's not much else to say about this. It's all dependent on what you have in your box, what you can do. There's so many varying effects. Unfortunately, a lot of the good ones, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, do need, like, some gacha supporters or some supporters you can't get anymore. A good example being Home Alone. Anemone and Suzune are from the gacha, and Katajina, we've only had her event once ever for global, so if you're a newer player, you may not have access to her. The same issue happens here with Holy Night Pageants. This was last year's Christmas event, and she has not repeated since then. So it's, again, something you just work up as your account evolves. You'll eventually have access to more powerful bonuses. But until then, you make do with what you can. I prefer to go for bonuses to give some sort of damage, especially like for the character type I'm using. So for example, if I can fish it out. God, there's so many here. Why did I do this? Okay, this is a good one. So like petting zoo ninjas, for example, would increase damage dealt by a team demon type character. So if you're using like more predominantly demon type characters, this would go good on your account. The example I used for Home Alone would go good on an account that predominantly uses melee characters, which is what I have been doing lately. And then another example would be Them's Fightin' Ninjas, which would work well on an account that predominantly uses ranged characters. But there are many varying effects. Some are more about making you tanky, some give you more particle regen, more HP regen. For example, that's what Angels in White does, I believe. Yeah, it reduces damage from ranged attacks by 15%. Then it increases HP restore from all sources by 30%. So this is a really fun one to use in tanky builds because it makes your healing way stronger. But yeah, I mean, I could go on about this all day. There's so many effects here. It would just become a super long video if I went into each of them. But for people who are newer, you definitely make sure you go to this screen, and that would be from your actual I guess player card, this thing, your profile. And then you can set everything you need to set here. So the armory would be here to be edited, and so would your supporter formation. And just see what you have access to, and make sure you pay attention to supporters that you may not, have leveled up yet that you do have that can help contribute to a bonus. The other thing to keep in mind is the HP up from the passive effect. So that actually contributes to this total number here. You see I have HP up 27.06%. That's pretty much the total of everything that I have leveled up from this passive effect line. So in case people didn't know where that HP up is coming from, it's from that line. So it always pays to level up stuff that you maybe have sitting there just to get the additional health bonus, because it does add up over time. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the support formation and the armory. Next we're going to come over to the awakening screen and just talk about that, and that'll be the video. So we're going to pop one in here. Now this is something that as a newer player you may not have the crystals yet to really get into this system. But as you play longer, and over time, you'll have had more than one character awaken. As you see here, out of the 8 characters I own, 7 of them are awakened. So it ends up leaving you with a lot of awakening points to kind of tailor make your account to have it do what you want it to do. So with that being said, this is all preference. I'll tell you what I like to do, but there's really no wrong answer here. If you play a lot of PvP, there's perks for that. If you prefer to be tanky, there's perks for that. If you like support or cooldown, there's a leadership perk for that around here somewhere. There it is, right here. So there's a lot of variations. of what you can and can't do. You can get extra experience gained, you can increase healing. There's a lot of options. What I typically go for, like when I'm starting an awakening build, like regardless of whether it's going to be for ranged melee or PvP or whatever, I like to put 3 points in battle stance and then 4 points in machine specialist, human specialist, and demon specialist. Now, what this will effectively do is make it so you'll have 30% all damage account wide for each of your characters. Well, that doesn't really seem like a lot. It adds up. Like, I've actually tried doing awakening builds without investing in these before doing anything else, and the hit to damage was really noticeable. So I always put a few points in, each of these four top trees just to get a little damage output on my account because it just helps overall. From there, you can really branch out like either way. Like, I guess I'll go into like ranged and melee examples, and then that'll be it. Um, so for right now, I'm running melee, so we'll go here. The first thing I invested in was critical damage after getting these skills to the levels I just suggested. The reason for that is because at in-game, critical rate is really high for most veteran players. If your critical rate isn't like 90% or 80% plus, we'll say, you'd be better off investing in melee offensive first if you're looking for a melee geared account, because that would be additional DPS right away. But if you're getting more critical hits, it's always smarter to invest in critical damage because it's just going to push the critical rate multiplier even higher and cause insanely powerful attacks. So yeah, I definitely max this out first, and this is assuming you have the points to do so. Next, I come to critical chance melee, and I actually bring this to level 5 and stop just to get that additional 10%. Because I find crit rate kind of hangs between like 85 and 95% for most in-game players. And this 10% just kind of gets you right to the 100% guide, like 100% point where like you crit so much you may as well call it 100%. Like I think I saw Kirara not crit like once the other day for the first time in months to put that in perspective. And then after that, I stop this at level 5 and I come to melee offensive, and then the goal now is to get this to level 10, but I just simply don't have enough characters awoken to do so because it does get really costly for points. After this is level 10 and has the 40% bonus it would have at max, I'll probably pivot back to critical chance just to ensure that all my melee characters have as much crit as possible. Now, the same thinking can be adopted for melee. You could just simply come over to the melee, melee, I'm an idiot. The same thinking could be adopted for the range side of things. Sorry about that. You just simply come over to the critical damage range and do the same exact thing you did here. And this would be if you're looking to spec your account into ranged characters. Then you would stop your critical rate ranged at level 5 and then come to ranged offensive. So it's really easy, like once you kind of have an idea where to put stuff. Another good skill, if you're looking to like have the lowest possible cooldown, is leadership. Just be advised that getting leadership to level 10 does take away a lot of DPS from potential specking you could do. But having the supporter skills at a low cooldown sometimes can be more valuable depending on your build. Again, this all comes down to what you have access to and what you want to do. There's really no right or wrong answers. Like, that's why I love the Awakening tree. It's kind of like that extra cherry on top for you to just say, hey, yeah, my account can do this. Outside of that, like, yeah, we do have, the more tanky passives down below. These I kind of shy away from because I just like dealing damage. I don't really value being tanky that much. Just because I've, played dungeon crawlers and games like this all my life where the more DPS you have, the less tanky you really need to be. If you're one-shotting the world, you really don't need to be that tanky. You just need to be killing stuff. Since we all know since we all know death is the best form of CC, there's no reason to dick around like snaring things with a tanky character when you could just one-shot things. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm not saying you're wrong for doing so if you build tanky, but I personally don't prefer that playstyle. I like blowing shit up and feeling OP. And I think that's pretty much it for the Awakening tree. Like, I'd love to hear what you guys do in it. Like, this has kind of been what I've been using since it's come out. And, besides switching it every now and then between ranged and melee or specking into leadership, like, I'd love to know what other people are doing. Like, I know one user on my server, I believe it was Orange that did this. Orange the Koronai Simp. I think he changed it to Koronai Simp. I don't remember. But either way, that player, he actually spec'd into, where is it? Human resistance. And he used human resistance to clear the tower because it made his characters so ridiculously tanky against humans that it made the final floors trivial because they weren't dealing a bajillion damage to his characters. So there's definitely some cheeky things you can get away with if you exploit the Awakening Tree. The only issue is resetting it will run you 400 gems. So really, 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 really consider, you know, the price before you go resetting stuff. Like, honestly, I only really ever reset it if I've, like, topped up to whale or something, because then the 400 gems is negligible. But, like, right now I'm kind of in free-to-play mode where I'm just saving gems for the future. And, like, I would not burn 400 of these gems to reset my awakening skills currently. Not that I want to, but if I did, I would wait, is the point I'm trying to make. It's very expensive to do so, as that 400 gems is a 10 pull in a regular banner. So, food for thought. It is what it is. I don't know why her back was turned. That was awkward. But we're going to give her a head pat because she's my best friend. And yeah, that'll be the video. I wanted to get this out because, like I said, it's been requested. Tomorrow we'll go back to looking at various builds on bonus stage 3. Like I said, I'm going to show off Blue Coronai, and Ultra has some Obro gameplay he wanted to show. So I think people will like to see that because, like, Obro gets literally no representation whatsoever because she's kind of bad right now. And I know a lot of people are waiting for her supporters, so it'll be nice to see what Ultra can make her do since he's our resident Leviathan. And yeah, Tack will be around for that video too. He's just at work right now. So yeah, I'm going to call it here. I hope this helped out some people who had questions, and good luck and Godspeed building up your accounts. Like, personally, everything I've built is centered around a melee Kirara. And yes, she slaps, and I'm enjoying it. So I hope you can kind of twink out your favorite character too, or maybe have a general account that buffs all of your characters. But either way, I hope you're happy with whatever you come up with. And with that, you boys and girls have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.